So, the journey of finding self. Hmm. When you first start your journey, you would hear someone saying, like, oh, you don't know who you are, you haven't found yourself yet. And it's just like, it'll put you in that thought process, like, well, no, I know who I am. My name is such and such. I like these things. These things piss me off. I process well under these type of environments or around these type of people. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, no, but that's not really who you are to the core, right? Those are the things that describe who you are and how you show up in this realm. But to truthfully find self to your core, you would actually have to cancel out a lot of worldly things because that's not really you, the energy to your core, like who you are. Because we are not how we show up in this realm. We are the energy inside of the avatar or the body, right? So the journey of finding self, you literally have to first, from my experience, I'll speak from my experience. Um, it was a process of tapping back into the inner child. Like how was your personality when you were a child? Because that's when we are the closest to source, right? That source energy. We're not as tainted. We don't have a lot of experience in the world, so we're just pure energy. Um, and so it's like, what are those things that you love to do? What brought you the most fulfillment, the most joy? What were your hobbies? Things like that. And that's who we really are to our core is that energy, that childlike energy that we were before we went out into the world and we started, going through experiences and started to experience um, that pain or that trauma or anything that any type of energies that we experienced that we didn't like or that didn't feel good to us. You know what I'm saying? Also, another thing is stripping away any labels, anything that anyone has tried to label you as or put a label over you as. You don't have to agree to it if you don't want to. You know, a lot of times when people put labels on us, it's out of projection. It's how they feel and how they think and from their beliefs in their mind. So they're trying to put a label on you. And it's like, well, no, you can't really put labels on anyone because everyone is their own person and everything just is. Like, you can't really put labels and judge people, right? So that's another way of finding self is just letting go of any projections or any labels that anybody put on you or tried to label you as. Another good tip would be to practice meditation as much as possible. I know that we all have busy schedules and we have families and children and things like that, but you have to try to find that time to practice your meditation at least 3 days out of 7. At least minimum 3 days out of 7. You can do at least 10 to 20 minutes, hopefully 30 if you can a day. Practice your meditation, go within, start getting more acquainted with your higher self, and start being silent and telepathically ask questions and wait for the answer and see what you get. You know what I'm saying? Just create that alignment with your higher self. And that's how you do it is through practicing meditation. Also, you can call on your ancestors while you're meditating, or you can do it like what we call prayer. Before you meditate, you can speak, open your palms of your hands, and ask that spirit and your ancestors um, just welcome in that energy of your sacred ancestors, known and unknown, and just ask for whatever it is that you need assistance with in that time or in that meditation. And you go into your meditation and you telepathically communicate, and that's another way that could help you connect with your true self or your inner self or your higher self. Another way to embrace your true self and to empower your true self is to not care what anybody thinks. What other people think about you is a projection of how they feel on the inside. Because we shouldn't be judging each other. Even though for some reason I don't know why we are set up to judge each other the way that we do. It don't matter if you're of the light or of the dark. It don't matter like what you claim to be, love and light, whatever. We all have that habit of judging each other. And so it's okay when it's like constructive criticism, but to just judge someone and try to put a label on them for anything that they may choose to do or anything that they may be going through, I don't feel like that's right. We all are on our own unique journey and going through our own experiences, so there should never be like that type of energy of judgment. So that's another way. Don't give a fuck about what nobody think about you, because you are you are granted your divinity at birth. So you have every right to be your true self. And if someone doesn't like you for being your true self, they just haven't found self yet. And so that's why I made this video, because it's like people speak generally on finding self, and it's just like I wanted to go a little bit more in depth into what that meant, because it's not what people have said about you, it's not what people have projected on you, it's simply the true you and who you are to your core. And another way to get acquainted vibrationally with your true self is through numerology and learning your numbers. You can also do this by adding up the letters in your name. So you take your full name that you were given at birth. Each letter has a number, and it's from 1 to 9, and then you start back at 1. And you can add up your total name expression, and that's how you get your soul urge number. And that's the true you to your core. If you need help with that, you can inbox me. I do create numeroscopes for 2222. If that's something that you would like to do, you can look at the videos on my page and see exactly what we're dealing with when it comes to numerology. But that's also another way in knowing or getting acquainted with the true you or your true self. Okay, so I hope y'all enjoyed this video and it was informative. If it was, I ask that you go ahead and heart or like the video, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace, love, and light. Ashe.